This one, agenda, right?
Yes, sir. Agenda slide.
Okay, okay, perfect. Informed decision, which is data driven. Here, data driven is the most important point here. So, building block for any BI application is data. So, you need to be very keen in understanding what is data. Okay, so we'll go through our agenda. So for today, our agenda is we'll understand what is data, where we store the data, which is data warehouse, how to access data, analytics and presentation of data, data dashboarding and reporting, how to maintain data quality, and business intelligence in real world, and which are the tools which are generically used in BI right now. I'm not covering like each and every tool in it, but some of the tools that I have been working extensively. So I have only covered those tools, but there are many. There are plenty of business intelligence tools in the market and in the world, which you can explore further. Okay. So we'll start with our what is data. Guys, in 2020, so this image is from around October 2020. So till October 2020, 59 zettabytes of data were generated. Imagine 59 zettabytes of data. This amount of data is currently being handled in the world, and this amount of data getting generated into the world. Understand, if there is a system which is able to handle this amount of data and analyze this amount of data, what an enormous level of information can be gathered. Okay, what enormous level of insights that can be accumulated from this enormous data. So try to understand that at what level we are generating this data, and considering the current global pandemic, as most of us are at home and consuming OTT platforms and have been very active, you can also understand that those lectures which you were going to attend into your from your university or in YCC, now you are attending those lectures on the Google Meet, right? You are attending those lecture on Google Meet. So here also see, here also for every lecture you are also generating a lot of data. For example, how many students have attended this lecture? What was that? What was the agenda of that lecture? Okay, at what time? How many people were active? What were the questions in the chat? Okay, how many people have asked questions? So these type of data points. Now, due to this pandemic, as people are more tends to work online, so the generation of data has extensively updated. I mean, it's generating a huge amount of data. I can confidently say that in 2021, it might be like double or triple of this 59 zettabytes of data. Okay. So first of all, we'll understand like what is data. So data is information. Okay, it is any sort of information which is stored in computer memory. Okay, this information can later be used by a website, an application, or any other client to store for future purpose and analysis.
Sir, sorry to disturb, but I guess slides are not changing. To us, the agenda slide is visible till now.
Okay. Okay, let me do it.
Yes, now what is data? And now 59 zettabytes of data that is visible.
Okay, so you understand now what I was saying about 59 zettabytes of data?
Yes, sir, it was understandable.
Yeah, give me a second. Actually, now let's see. So now you are able to see 59 zettabytes of data?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so it is perfectly visible, right? Hello?
Yes,
sir. It is
Yeah. So 59 zettabytes of data. So I was talking about like what a huge amount of data is getting generated every day, and it's been going to be double, triple in 2021. As considering the current global pandemic, everyone is consuming data online. Everything is getting online. you are doing work from home, you are doing classes from online platform, you are consuming entertainment online from the OTT platforms. It was also before also it was there, but now you can understand, like instead of going to movie theaters, people are now consuming those movies over OTT platform. Instead of going to colleges, now we are doing our lectures in the on the Google Meet, on the online platform. So this is why this pandemic has given a big surge into the data generations. Okay, I hope now what is data slide is visible to you. So now slides
No,
are working fine, right? Numerical, it only contains the number, which is quantify certain attribute like invoice amount, order value. Okay. Further categorical type of data is again categorized into two categories: nominal and ordinal. Nominal data describes specific characteristics. Okay, it can have numerical value when it has limited set of values which will not carry any meaning. Okay, like gender, order type. It can have a numerical values, but you cannot perform any mathematical operations on it. For example, if I give you like order type, online and offline, you can definitely count them, but you cannot do like an you cannot like average it or something like. If I give you marital status, you can count them. Okay. Now we have ordinal type of data, where data represents specific characteristics and can have a numerical value that represents order of magnitude. For example, ratings. For example, if you give ratings to a particular movie, like it has get 5 out of 4 ratings or 5 out of 3 ratings. Okay, where 1 star means worst and 5 star means best. So that kind of a data comes into the ordinal type of data. Now, a numerical category is again categorized into two categories: continuous and discrete. Guys, this is a bit tricky. Okay, this you need to understand. If I asked you what is the temperature, okay, what will you answer to me? For example, if I ask you like what is today's temperature, you will say like sorry, it's 30 degrees Celsius. But do you think it's only 30 degrees Celsius? Have you have gone into the labs, right, and you have checked the thermometer? So it might say like 30.55556677 degrees Celsius. So basically it has a range. Okay, and it can take any value after that decimal places, but we mostly take like 35 degrees Celsius, 35.5 degrees Celsius, like that. But it can go to any value. For example, if I ask someone's weight, he or she can say like 60 kg, but is it only 60 kg? No, mass has a certain weight which can be 60 kg, 500 gram, 0.3377 gram, something like that. So that data comes into a continuous range. For example, someone's weight, it cannot be exactly 60 kg. Yes, we do not have that precise level of weighing scale, but we can definitely say that it's not exactly 60 kg. It must be like 60 kg, 600 gram, 73 gram, 0.334455 gram. So it has a range of data. Okay. Discrete values are taken at a regular interval. Okay. For example, like monthly revenue, or like your monthly salary, or like someone's stipend. It's a fixed amount. Okay. It's a fixed amount that he's getting. It's a discrete value that he'll be getting like 50,000 per month, or like he'll be getting 10,000 or 15,000 per month stipend. So it's a discrete value. It's a single value. So you need to understand the difference between continuous and the discrete value. Guys, any questions? So we are good. Please let me know if I'm going too fast, or you are not able to understand anything, or I'm not audible. You are feel free to tell me. Okay.
so there are no questions right now. You can.
Okay.
The
So,
floor is good, sir. Understand.
Okay, perfect. So I hope that you understand the types of data. Okay. So now you're able to see my screen and the data warehousing slide.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So now we'll move to data warehousing. Now you get the data, you understand the data, you understand the types of data, you understand how the data is categorized into different categories: qualitative, quantitative, numerical, and categorical. Now you need to store that data. as we understand that any information which is stored in a computer memory can be broadly said that it's a data. Now, where will you store that data? For that, you need a data warehouse. Okay. Data warehouse is a single, complete, and consistent store of data obtained from a variety of different sources made available to end users in what they can understand and use in a business context. Basically, at a very layman term, I can tell that data warehouse is a home for data, where where you are gathering data from different sources. Data source can be anything. Okay, it can be a text file, it can be an Excel file, it can be a data which is coming from a certain website, it can be a data which is coming from a Google Meet form, it can be coming from a survey form, it can be coming from a sensor. You guys are from electronic department, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir, we have students
sir.
from all the branches.
Great. So for example, let's take as a sensor. Everybody knows about sensors, right? For example, there is a one customer counting sensor at my shop, and anyone who enters that store, it counts that customer. That is also a data, and that is also a source. Might be that sensor is sending those data to my data warehouse, and I'm storing that data. So that is also a source. Sources can be different, many levels of sources, but where we store the data is called as data warehouse. It's a very complex, and trust me, it's very complex and detailed level of field when we go to business intelligence and in IT field. But I'm here telling you at a very brief level, like what is data warehouse. Okay, now we understand what is data warehouse. You can only remember one thing, that data warehouse is a place where we store the data which is coming from a different sources for our business analysis. Okay. Now we'll move to a process which is called as what is data warehousing. Okay, a process of transferring data into information and making it available to users in a timely enough manner to make a difference. Guys, we understand the data. Now we understand what is data warehouse. Data warehouse is a place where we store the data. Now, not just by storing the data, it won't be enough. Like we got the we understand the data, we acquire the data, we stored the data. Now we also have to use that data. We have to transform that data. There is a one term, you can write it down. There is a one term which is named as ETL: extract, transform, and load. Extract means you get the data from a source. Transform means you transform that data. You process that data into such a format that it will be used for your business, and then you load the data into the application from where you can access that data. It is called as ETL process. Trust me, there are specific ETL developers, and I was also an ETL developer, and now I'm working as a data engineer. So it's a huge field and very exciting field, I'm telling you. So what happens in data warehousing is I transform the data. For example, I got the data from that customer sensor. Okay, I got the data from customer sensors like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But what does that data means? It means that at this time some customer has entered, and at this time some customer has exited my store. But I need to transform that data. I need to transform that data in such a way that I should be able to understand that data. Okay, those electronic signals, I have to convert those electronic signals into such a data that I should be able to understand data to develop any report, or to understand like how my business is doing, or how many customers I have received from like 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so this is called as transforming that data into information.
So is there any difference in data warehouse and server?
That's a very good question.
That Amazon have some various types of server for saving the data. So what is there any difference in data warehouse?
That's a good question. What's your name?
Aditya.
Aditya. Aditya, it's a very good question. So Aditya, servers make data warehouse.
Okay.
Server is a component. Server is a component which makes data warehouse. Data warehouse is an application. You can say it's kind of a process, or it's a methodology which is based on servers. Servers are the acting parts. For example, if you install operating system, you install operating system into CPU. So here CPU is like server and operating system is like data warehouse. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yeah, got it.
Perfect. Perfect. These are guys. My animations are working in my presentation.
It's in non-volatile and time variant.
Perfect, perfect. So here we're talking about what are the characteristics of a data warehouse. So data warehouse should be non-volatile because data should be stable in a data warehouse. Okay. What if what if you got some data today and then you removed it? Okay. Then how will you? So far, we'll continue with that example of our customer monitoring sensor. So you got data for today. You did the analysis like, okay, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I got like 50 customer in my store, and now you erase that data, and now you go tomorrow. But you wanted to understand a trend. You wanted to understand a trend like, hey, I wanted to check like at what time in a month I got maximum number of customers. For that, you need a data for a whole month. So you cannot erase it. Okay. So your data warehouse should be non-volatile. That means data is stable in a data warehouse. More data is added, but data is never removed. Okay. Every day, data will be added at an incremental manner, but no data will be removed. Data must be time variant. All data in the data warehouse is identified with a particular time period. If we are not able to identify that data with a time associated with it, it's of no use. Okay. Data is subject oriented. Data that gives information about a particular subject instead of about a company's ongoing operation. It's all about a subject. Like for example, if I'm doing it for a sales, it's about that sales subject. If I'm doing it for marketing, it's about that. So your data will be subject oriented in your data warehousing. It won't be like I'm accessing sales data for marketing reports and I'm accessing marketing data for sales report. No, it must be subject oriented. Then only that data will make sense to you. Integrated. Data that is gathered into the data warehouse from a variety of sources and merged into a coherent whole, which is called as data integration. You are getting a data from different sources, but you need to integrate that data into one place, which is called as data integration. Data warehousing is combining data from multiple and usually varied sources into one comprehensive and easily manipulated database. So you are getting data from different sources, as I said, like from flat files, from website, from Excel files, from sensors, from social media. You gather all these data and you integrate that data into a one database or at a one place for your further analysis. You cannot have a scattered data. Okay. Then if you have a scattered data, then how will you able to analyze that data at a one place, or how will you able to compare data from one source to another source? Okay. That's why you need to integrate this data at a one place. Guys, now our data warehousing is almost over, and now we'll move to what are the different types of data warehouses. Basically, there are two main types, OLTP and OL, where OLAP is our contemporary data warehouse and OLTP is online transaction processing. Okay. Mostly OLAP can be directly referred to as a data warehouse, but I want you to understand at least these two terms, OLTP and OLAP, because these two terms are very important with respect to business intelligence foundation. Till the time, guys, any questions? Are you able to understand? Am I going too fast?
No, sir.
No, the pace is good.
Thank you, Ronak,
Also
Aditya.
getting
Thank you, Nandini. So guys, we'll try to understand OLTP. You must be having this question like, if you go to Big Bazaar and done any transaction, you paid for something, what will happen to that data? That data will go to the OLTP server because it's an online transaction processing. It's a real-time data source, or we can say that it's a real-time database where your transactions or your sales, real-time sales are basically stored into the OLTP server. So OLTP is specialized data organization, access methods, and implementation methods to support data warehouse queries. Basically, it's real time. You purchase anything, you did any transaction, it will go into the OLTP. It's real time. Here we'll try to understand quickly what is OLTP and OLAP. Here we talk about the data warehousing, which is OLAP. Mostly BI is based on OLAP, because in BI we talk about past and present. We talk about what was the trend, how was my sales, how was my marketing initiative is going on. We do not talk about like the what is the current transaction right now, but we'll talk about the BI application, which is mostly based on the data warehouse, which is our OLAP. Okay, so OLTP is application oriented and OLAP is subject oriented. Here we'll talk about subject oriented. Here means about sales data, marketing data, even like how was my order data. Okay, we'll not go more deep into the OLTP and OLAP, but here at a very high level, I just wanted to tell you that OLAP will consist of all your historical and present data, but OLTP will consist of your current up to date. Okay, it will have all the current transaction and real time data, but OLAP will have the historical and the present data. Now guys, with that slide, we have completed our data warehousing part. Any questions till now with the data warehousing, or what is data and types of data?
No, sir.
Okay, perfect. Now we'll move to, so everyone is able to see my screen, data access, analytics and presentation?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now first we'll talk about data access. Now we understood the data, we understood how that data is categorized into different categories. Now also we have processed and stored the data. Now it's time to access the data. We have stored the data into the data warehouse, but what if if we are not able to even access that data? So data access is very important. Data access is an on-demand, authorized and ability to retrieve, modify, copy or move data from IT systems. We just, you know, we never just like have that data at one place. No, we modify that data according to our business use. We copy that data to some other data warehouse or other database. Sometimes we have to move the data. For example, we are using like Oracle database, and now we wanted to use some other database. But we will move that data from one database to another database. So moving it, copying it, modifying it, even and also retrieving it, obviously for any level of analysis, that is all covered into our data access part. With data access, user can perform functions with location, data motion. Okay, most of the times this data access is very important and it is strictly authorized by the organization. It's not like if I'm working in Infoseps, so like I have all the data access. No, only that level of data access will be given to me which is necessary for my operation or for my work. It will not give me like any sort of access to any of the data which is not necessary. So data access is a very key aspect here. Data access must be very restricted and monitored. You cannot give access to any sort of data to anyone. Only that level of access is given to you which is required for your work. Analytics. Now you got the data, you processed the data, you stored the data, and now you are also able to access that data. Access that data means you are able to see that data, you can modify data, you can move that data. Now you need to analyze the data. Okay, analytics is a very lucrative term, but here at a very broader aspect, here we will associate it with the analyzing the data. Okay, so analytics is the process of analyzing raw data to find trends and answer questions. Why we analyze the data? Okay, we analyze the data to answer our business questions. For example, I have a business question like I wanted to know what is the peak time of my business. What will I do? I will check my sensor data and I will see like at what time of the day I'll get the maximum number of customers. Okay, for example, I am at a KFC store. Okay, I'm at a KFC store and there are 6 counters. Okay, there are 6 counters, and okay, there are 6 counters which is number from 1 to 6. And after analyzing the data, I found out that counter number 4 gets the maximum number of customers. So tell me at what counter I will have my best person, or I will have my best associate to cater the customer. Which exactly. So these level of business questions can be solved by analyzing the data. and that is where comes the analytics. Okay, guys, do you want me to read this for you?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. So analytics is the process of analyzing raw data to find trends and answer questions, as I have already explained it to you. The definition of data analytics captures its broad scope of the field. However, it includes many techniques with many different codes. This can be different, like trend analysis, KPIs, different types of analysis. Okay. The data analytics process has components that can help a variety of initiatives. By combining these components, a successful data analytics initiative will provide a clear picture of where you are, where you have been, and where you should go. These three are the main and important questions for any business. Where you are, how you are doing, where you have been, I mean, in the past, how was your performance, and what are your future perspective, how you are seeing your performance in the future. This level of analysis can be done using a proper data for your business. Okay. Now presentation. Simple. You got the data, you process the data, you stored the data. Now you are able to access the data. Based on the data you have, you are also done the analysis of data, like what kind of an insights you can draw from that data. Now you need to present that data. Okay. You need to present that data. For example, mostly, and all of you are aware that data presentation can be mostly textual, tabular, or diagrammatic. Textual means, for example, I have written something. I have given a feedback for a OnePlus phone. Okay, I have given a feedback like, hey, I have bought OnePlus 6 and its camera is not working correctly, and the software is not that good. Or I have given a tabular format for my data, like my per day sale. Okay, that's in the tabular. Or diagrammatic, I have converted that tabular data into a bar chart for showing my per day sales or something like that. So this is presentation of data. Any representation of data in the form of graphical, tabular, or textual format is considered as a presentation of data. Okay. Data presentation is defined as the process of using various graphical formats to visually represent the relationship between data sets so that an informed decision can be made. Exactly. So we'll move to another slide. Any questions till now?
No, sir, pretty clear.
Okay, so now this is the question for you. This is an exercise for you, and we'll have 1 minute for all of you. Okay. So my screen is visible, and you are able to read that question.
Yes, is the most preferred season
Of each age group. Here are the preference value. So basically, for every age group, you need to tell me the season which has the highest preference value.
Sir, repeat the question.
So you need to tell me the season by age group which has the highest preference value.
55 and over, spring season.
Okay.
18 to 34 summer season.
18 to 34. Yes, sir.
Summer.
And 55
And what about 35 to 54?
fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is 55 and over?
Spring.
Spring 30.
Spring.
Tell me, was it a good way of finding out?
No, sir. I think so. We should find the average.
Yeah, I mean, no, that is fine. At every age group level, they have given me a preference value. But do you think tabular should be a good option to show it? At least I have clubbed that 18 to 34 years old into first three, you can say like first three sales, and then have shown the preference value. That would have been a more easier way to find out which is the most preferred season for every age group.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now you tell me. Now see, this is so easy. It will take like 1 second. For 18 to 34 year old, it's summer. For 35 to 54, it's fall. And for 55 and over, it's spring.
Yeah.
This is how data representation help you. graphical representation of any data helps you in understand data very quickly instead of tabular or textual format. If I have like written this into a one line, you won't be able to find out. You would have taken like 5 or 10 minutes to gather all the data, understand the data, and then take out insights out of that data. But with this simple one bar chart, you were able to quickly find out like which is even you can tell me like so tell me guys, which is the least preferred season for 55 and over?
Winter.
See, it's so easy. And tell me, which is the second most preferred season for 35 and 54 years old?
Summer.
Summer.
See, so so you understand now how graphical representation of data helps you to quickly understand the insights coming from the data. Are we good, guys?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Perfect. Looks like the presentation doesn't work correctly. So guys, now we'll move to our,
There is
Yes.
a little lag, sir.
yeah. So now are you able to see my screen with data dashboarding and reporting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Perfectly. If you can see that this iPhone is showing the same graph that we just looked, right? So, so guys, data dashboarding and reporting is again a very important aspect of a business intelligence. You acquired the data, you process the data, you stored the data, you access the data, you analyze the data, but now you have to represent that data in a very good manner, such a way that it would be understood and consumed by the end user. Okay. For that, you will create data dashboards and report. A data dashboard is an information management tool that visually tracks, analyzes, and displays key performance indicators. How many of you have heard about this one thing, KPI? I'll explain it to you. So basically, KPIs are the most important thing for any business. For any business, the KPI can be sales. For some business, KPIs can be profit. For YCC, KPIs can be ratio of a pass and fail student, how many students got admission. These, which are the key performance indicator. For a college, the key performance indicators can be how many of students have got like first rank, how many of students have got the medals, how many students got admission into this college. So these are the key performance indicator for an institution. Metrics and key data points to monitor the health of a business, department, or specific purposes. Metrics are basically the numerical values which are derived from a different which are derived using different numerical operations. For example, like average, for example, in terms of ICC, I can say average passing percentage, or like average students passed in all the department, or like highest top 10 salaries or top 10 placement records YCC has achieved this year. So these types of mathematical operation performed on the data is called as metrics. Okay. Dashboards and reports are run by business question. Definitely, you will create a dashboard to understand any business problem. For example, in our last report, we had a problem where we wanted to know which is the most preferred season at a age level. Okay, so we created a dashboard and we found out like which is the most preferred and which is the worst season for each and every age group. So that was our business question. We need to understand the preference of our age group wise targeted people. Okay, so that was our business question. Okay, the best dashboard is the one which answers your business question and gives a quick analysis and informational awareness about the business. Yes, a dashboard should give you a quick glance on the data and solve your questions quickly. We just saw that so you are able to see that bar graph again, guys?
No, sir.
Still on the data dashboard.
Okay, so are you at least able to see that first point? dashboards, reports are run by business questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I was going to explain it to you that your dashboards must be quickly answer your questions. Okay. Well, like our last report, it has quickly answered you our questions like which is the most preferred, which is the less preferred season. That is. Dashboard presents interactive data visualization. Yes. Have you? I'll show you after this session. I will show you a couple of my dashboards on my Tableau public profile. They are not a very big dashboards or not very like interactive, but I'll show you like how we normally do data visualization. So data is visualized on a dashboard as tables, line charts, bar charts. So we use different graphical representation of data onto the dashboard, and they are very interactive and awesome looking dashboards. In dashboard, we monitor multiple KPIs and metrics at once. Change to any aspect of a business, whether it be in marketing, sales, support, or finance, has an impact on the business whole easier. So basically, with the dashboard, we are able to monitor our multiple KPIs. So for example, there is a dashboard of our YCC which shows like how many students are got placed, how many students got admission, and if we feed that data regularly to it, so someone will go to that dashboard and will see, yesterday there were 50 students got placed, and today 10 more students got placed. So now the total students placement is 60. So now they are able to see the trend. Now they are able to monitor the KPI. Now they are able to monitor like what is changing for YCC or how YCC is getting more students placed, or for example for a company or for a store. Yesterday they have sold like 50 items and today they have sold like 60 items. So they are very doing good. They had a growth of like 20% today because they have sold 10 more items today. Okay, and another next day they were only sold like 30 items. So now they will understand like, okay, here is something that we have done something bad and now our progress has been going down. So this is called as monitoring your KPIs. Okay, so with consistent data and developing a very good dashboard with consistent data, you are able to monitor those KPIs at once. Okay, using dashboard. So basically, dashboards are focused on operational and analytical data. The business questions a dashboard answers depends on industry, department, process, and position. For example, a sales team is more interested in knowing the sales figure than a marketing team will be understand to know how their marketing initiative is going on. So basically, this point is focused on the operational and analytical data based at a subject-oriented level. So basically, these type of data has been seen by decision maker, executive, and senior leaders. For example, a senior leader sees a fall in a sales or a fall in a profit, then he'll try to understand like what are the important things that I need to take care. Why my sales is going down? Why my profits are getting hit? So that in that case, the senior leaders and executive will think and create a strategy to to tackle this kind of a situation where their sales or the profits are getting down. Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
So guys, we are coming to our end. Okay. So all of you are able to see the data quality slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Perfect. Okay. So now we got the data, we processed it, we stored it, we did the analysis, we have already also built a wonderful dashboard on our data. But now it is important to maintain the data quality. So basically, data quality is one of the most important aspects in the overall process. Okay. Data quality is a measure of the condition of data based on factors such as accuracy, completeness, consistency, reliability, and whether it is up to date or not. If the data is not up to date, how am I going to take the informed decision? If the data is not correct, okay. Yesterday in my store, there were 100 customers were came, but my sensor has given me like 500. So it will show me like, okay, 500 customers have came, but why my sales is so less? That is where the doubts will come up. So that's why data quality is very important. You should have a reliable, complete, and consistent data in your data warehouse, and that's why data quality is very important. If data quality is not correct, if your data is not correct, then all of your decisions will be wrong, and all the efforts you have been doing in all the process, it will go into vain. Okay, so hence data quality is one of the major aspect of any BI application. How to determine data quality? See, it's a very simple thing. I mean, I'm saying it's a very simple thing, but determining a data quality consisting of continuously comparing your data with the standard processes. Okay, you need to create test cases for your data. You need to continuously check like what wrong you are doing with your data, how you are going to use that data, what are the different mathematical operations that you are going to you are going to do on your data. Can just give me, I'm going on mute for a minute. Okay? So data quality is one of the most important aspect of any BI application. If your data is not correct, then all the decisions you are going to make based on that data will be incorrect and will be wrong, and that will be a disastrous effect on your business. Okay, so that's why data quality is very, very, very important. Okay. Team, any questions till now?
So in this data quality, so the licenses and sources are coming in this field. Yeah.
Basically, no, licensing. You mean to you mean to understand about like tools licensing?
Terms and conditions to use this data and all.
No. That will not came. That will came into something different. For example, like terms and conditions on using a certain tool will came into like procurement and into the IT infrastructure. That will not came into data.
Okay.
Your data quality majorly focus on the quality of data, whether that data is correct or not. See, you got the data, you store the data, you process the data, you also build the dashboard on the data. But what if the data is not correct? Then what if the data is not correct? For example,
Your voice was lagging, I think so.
now is it fine?
Yeah.
For example, if this data is not correct, okay. For example, if this data is not correct, and I understand that winter that 55 and over age people doesn't like winter, and that's why if I'm running a store and if a person which is came who has a age of 55 and over, so I will not, and I think that he's not more preferable to use the winter product. So what I will do is I will put those winter products at the end of my shop. Okay, but what if this data is incorrect? And actually, the correct data is like 55 and over people likes winter even more than spring. Then what my decision would be? My decision would be put winter products near to the shelf, because 55 and over people will less tends to walk. Okay. So this would be a disaster to my business because the data is not correct and I have taken a very uninformed decision based on that. Right? So that's why data quality is very good.
Okay, got it.
Okay, guys. So now we are at our one of our last slide, which is BI in real world. So basically, we'll talk about here a couple of examples, some examples on where the business intelligence can be used. So first is it is used to shorten your sales cycle. Okay, using sales analytics in business intelligence, you can see which of your sales representatives are performing the best. For example, like there are 100 sales representatives in Nagpur, you will find out like, hey, who is the sales representative who has the best job. So what I will do is next time I will hire that person to an area or to an area where my sales is going down. So because I know that this person has done the maximum number of sales, so this is the perfect person. I can send it to a place where my sales are going down, and he will be the correct person to lift it up. Okay. So this can shorten my sales cycle. Identify your customer's behavior. For example, I have a customer sign up program where my customer came to my store and they sign up. So now from there, I can understand the purchasing pattern of my customer. For example, Trushita come to a store and every day she buys some products. Okay. Now I understand that this customer is continuously buying these type of products. So now next time, if that customer will came up, I'll come up with some more ideas to to give discounts to that customer or to come up with some better offers to that customer on those particular products. such a way that I will increase my sales for that particular customer. So these level of informed decisions can be done using BI. We can plan our successful marketing activities. Like there are some marketing analytics techniques available, predictive analytics, and we can identify most efficient campaigns and the common factors they share. Okay, with using this data. We can improve our customer experience process. If I know that my most selling products are like chocolates and fruits, what I will do is I will make sure that I will include as much types of fruits and chocolates as possible in my store, and I will make sure that they are at the most convenient place from where the customer can took the things. If I understand that those customer who buys for example, for those customers who buys like nacho, they also buys those customers who buys nacho, they also buy sauce. So what I will do is I'll put sauce and nacho together, okay, so that they don't have to go to a different place, and it will be inconvenient to customer, and it will improve my customer experience in my store. So these level of decisions you can take based on the data you have. Guys, any questions here? I think this was an interesting. So any questions?
Sir, how we collect this data?
That's a very good question, Anubhav. So basically, there are different sources of data. Okay, data can be coming through any website. Data can be coming through any files. There are some surveys from which you can gather the data. There are some sensors which can give you the data. So data sources can be different. For example, in this stores, stores example, I can tell you that data came from the customer sign up program. If you go to like Big Bazaar, you enter your phone number, and then he generates a bill. So from that phone number, I identify that, hey, this phone number is Anubhav's, and Anubhav purchased these products every month. So from this, I can do the analysis. Something like this is the source. This will be my source also.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I want to buy. Sorry, सर हमें कोई प्रोडक्ट बेचना है शॉप में, तो ऐसा कौन सा मतलब क्या चीज हम ये करेंगे कि वो मैक्सिमम क्वांटिटी में बिक जाए?
मतलब आपको कोई प्रोडक्ट जो है वो बेचना है?
यस सर।
देखिए वो क्वेश्चन तो मोर ऑफ अ मार्केटिंग से रिलेटेड हो गया. इट्स नॉट मोर ऑफ अ बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस. बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस में तो आप डेटा को प्रोसेस एंड उसको एनालिसिस करते हो, लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर प्रॉपर किसी भी प्रोडक्ट की मार्केटिंग की जाए एंड इफ दैट प्रोडक्ट होल्ड्स अ ग्राउंड, सी सब कुछ होता है आइडिया पे होता है. अगर आइडिया या फिर प्रोडक्ट में दम है ना, तो वो अपने आप दिख ही जाएगा अगर उसकी मार्केटिंग ठीक से की जाए. बट आई थिंक दैट दिस क्वेश्चन इज नॉट वेरी रिलेवेंट टू बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस. But yeah, if the product has some good strength, then definitely it will get sold.
Thank you.
So guys, my next slide is more of a different. My next slide is more of a different tools which are used in BI. So I have given you 3 categories: data visualization, data integration tools, and databases. These are just the names and logos of the different tools which has been used. Mostly I have worked on Tableau in data visualization. In data integration tools, I have worked on Talent, Informatica, and Pentaho. In database, I have worked on Oracle, Postgres, and Amazon Redshift. So there is nothing to be explained here. If you wanted to learn about BI, and so best tool for you to go into data visualization is Tableau. Search about Tableau public and you will find a lot of courses and YouTube videos based on Tableau, and you can create a wonderful dashboards using Tableau. I'll show you a couple of my Tableau public dashboards. Can you see my screen?
No, sir.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen. Now you are able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So for example, like I have created this one dashboard few times before. It shows you how Indian batsmen perform versus left arm pace. This data must be very old. Yeah. It was for the World Cup 2015. So if you see, MS Dhoni got 9 times dismissed by left arm pacer. So this was just for a fun. I did this analysis. There is one more analysis based on work from home. Yeah. So 98% people would like to have options. So now nobody wants to go back to office. Let's be very honest. 98% of the people would like to work from their home and don't want to go to the office. So these level of analysis you can do using, if you have the correct data and if you know how to represent that data, if you know how to work with that data, you can create such a wonderful dashboards and insights out of that data. So see, these are some of the points on which people like to stay home instead of going to office. They wanted to have flexibility to work from any location. They wanted to have a flexible schedule. They don't want to go to office at 9 a.m. and come back at 5 or 6 p.m. They wanted to just wake up and do work whenever they wanted to. So these kind of insights you can get from the data and using correct data to. So team, now the forum is open for questions. Any questions?
No, sir. Can you just share this slide to the group for revision type?
I'm not sure if I'm able to share this presentation with you guys.
Not whole presentation, sir, but related some points or some notes type of.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll share it with Krishit.
सर आई हैव क्वेश्चन.
Yeah, please.
आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है?
नहीं ना, लेकिन मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि कल से डालना शुरू कर दूँ.
ओके सर. नाइस आंसर. थैंक यू.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the presentation, sir. I have a question that since you've been working in this industry and working around data, how relevant do you think is Tableau in the business intelligence or data industry? And would it be a informed decision if somebody wants to pursue, if somebody wants to enter the industry and wants to opt for a job based on his skills on Tableau?
Tableau is one of the most hot data visualization tool currently because it has a very great, data visualization component. Visualizations is very beautiful in Tableau. Let's be very honest. And I can still say that for next, I can say 6 to 7 years, Tableau will be really great. So you can, so don't worry about it. If you wanted to enter as a Tableau developer into the BI industry, go for it. But don't come just as a Tableau developer, but also learn some more skills like data integration and Python. Learn Python. That would be very helpful. Okay. So
Yes,
definitely.
So Python is used for cyber course, yeah.
Python is a multi-purpose thing. Python is used for many things. So it's good to, if you wanted to learn some programming language, Python will be your best option.
So can you just give me some information about the GSOC exam? Did you know it?
Which exam?
GSOC.
GSOC. I'm really sorry, I haven't heard about it.
Okay.
Somebody write it down that they wanted to know about InfoSept. So basically, InfoSept is I can say it's a data-centric company. We are
IT Park, Nagpur.
Yes, it's in IT Park Nagpur, but we have a very beautiful office in Mihan, SP Info City. I can tell you, I'm not exaggerating, but I can tell you it is one of the best offices in Central India. You can check out the videos in YouTube, and we have one of the best offices in Central India. So basically what InfoSept does is we are currently in data science, cloud computing, and in business intelligence domain. We work as a data science COE for our client. We give them a full-fledged solutions on cloud computing, data science, and business intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem, Abhinav. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
अरे वो नमक वाले चले गए क्या?
Sorry, sir, for the disturbance.
Sorry for that, sir.
No,
Someone from outside joined the meeting, I guess.
no problem.
Sir, so I guess we don't have questions, so we can now come to the end of the session. Pushkar, can you begin with the vote of
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, if I want to join the Infosets as a data analytics related to data analytics, what I have to do? Matlab, I am from first year now.
So if you are from first year, so I think so friend, you have a long way to go, but I think you should focus on Python. Guys, I'm saying this, focus on Python. Okay, you should learn Python. Go ahead, learn Tableau, and try to understand data as much as possible. There is a one thing,
And
make
sir,
over Monday.
JavaScript and that C++ and many more.
Java and C++ is also very good. I'm not saying that, but I think from the business intelligence and from data science perspective, I'm only talking about BI and data science perspective. Then Python is a very good tool. It's a very handy tool to have. There is one more which is R, but if you go into Python, then you have a multiple. Yes, Infosys visit colleges, prepare for SQL. SQL, Ajit, SQL is also one of the good skills that you should have. If you are going to a BI company, you must know SQL.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Can we leave, sir, now?
Yeah, please.
Yes, we will come towards the end of the session. Utkarsh, can you begin with the vote of thanks?
Yeah, sure. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this webinar go successfully. On behalf of IEEE YCC student branch and entire audience, I, Utkarsh Raut, would like to thank Mr. Swapnil Sontakte for taking out some time from your busy schedule for us. Today we had the opportunity to hear your thoughts. They surely enlightened our minds and showed us a new path. I mentioned my deep sense of appreciation. We are inspired by your words, sir. I hope today's webinar has encouraged everyone for their future events. I want to thank everyone who worked to execute this webinar. I would also like to thank the audience for attending this session and hope to see you guys in our next webinar. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Swapnil sir. It was really great.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Trushita, for organizing this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, a great session it was. We are all inspired by your words, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.